A week of injury carnage at St Kilda has meant the injury list has expanded to 7 names, with 5 names set to miss at least the start of the 2025 season. So we heard last week that Paddy Dow set to miss the first half of the year with an infected knee issue. Phillipou set to miss the next 10 to 14 weeks with a stress fracture in his right femur. Rowan Marshall to miss 5 to 8 weeks with a stress fracture in his pelvis. But there is still some hope that he is ready for round 1. But it is looking quite unlikely from training. And Dougal Howard today was confirmed to miss the next 3 months from a dislocated shoulder that requires surgery. And Alex Taru, the draftee, is running but is still listed as 48 weeks away. So chance for round 1, but quite an uncertain timeline, so could also miss the start of the season too. So wishing all of these guys a safe and speedy recovery. But in this video, we're going to have a look at who are the potential replacements. So you guys might remember from the previous video that this was my starting lineup for round 1 going into this season. So this obviously included Marshall, Howard and Phillipou, who are now unavailable. So I'm going to try and redo this team and tell you guys about the thought process behind everything. There are a lot of options due to the versatility and the kind of the uncertainty in the squad with how young everyone is, but I'm going to try and go over kind of the most likely scenarios, in my opinion, over who might replace these injured players. So I think we'll start with just by removing all of these names first. So I'll remove Howard, Marshall and Phillipou. I'm going to assume Marshall's injury sidelines him for round 1, so we do have to find a replacement, and I think he's got the most straightforward replacement. I think this ruck position is between Harry Boyd and Max Heath. Heath has been, I guess, relatively disappointing going into his, I think, 3rd or 4th season now, over pre-season, but I think today's session, Friday the 31st of January, he did look really good in the ruck during match sim against Dodson. That might just be because of Dodson's inexperience and the fact that Boyd is on limited duties, but this is something that we do have to keep in mind. It is a very close kind of competition for this spot, but I think it is still up to Harry Boyd to try and shoulder the load come round 1. So I'll just leave this blank since his name wasn't on here. But Boyd, I think, will be able to match it against the mature bodies at AFL level. He's obviously played Sample for a number of years and been a very good ruckman in that competition. So the step up to AFL level could be quite different, but I think over pre-season he has looked pretty good when matched up against Rowe as well. So we'll go to fullback. This is probably, I guess, it is the easiest position to fill in as well, but then it also causes issue with the Battle replacement. So originally I had Cordy replacing Battle, but I guess Cordy just directly replaces Howard now, and that does open up Battle's position again. So there are a few options here. They're all relatively young kids here. So James Barrett being the draftee with a mature body, I think he still lacks the defensive craft. I haven't really watched him that much because he's been in rehab a lot. But he does have the mature body. If we want to throw someone in the deep end, I guess he's the guy. But apart from, Max Michelani, who I think played almost every game in his debut season for Adelaide a couple years back, as a kind of medium to tall defender at 190 centimeters, I don't think it's been done with a draftee playing that prominent of a role. So it is a tough job for Barrett if he is to play. So I'm probably going to rule him out for now. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does get an opportunity early in the season. The next option is to move on to Isaac Keeler, who has been training forward all of pre-season, but he did play a large portion of last year in the VFL in defence. So he does have experience there. He's 198 centimeters, so he's a really good size. And our defense with Cordy and Wilkie is already kind of undersized, so it would help to have some height there. But I think Keeler just lacks defensive craft at the moment. He was playing on instinct in the VFL and looked good as an interceptor, but if he has to man someone, I think that would be quite a tough task for him. So I think him being moved back to the forward line, it just doesn't really make any sense to put him back again without enough preparation. Notice Anthony Caminiti on the bench at the moment. I think he is probably the leading option at the moment. He's the one that has played at AFL level in defence, albeit only for I think a half of football, but he did look quite good. He intercepted well, he reads the play quite well, and obviously overhead he is probably one of the best in our team, marking the ball overhead. He played on Joe Danaher, kind of got taught a lesson. Danaher did kick a bag of goals that night. But it was a good experience for Caminiti, I think, and he has been on limited duties as well. So we haven't really been able to see what position the coaches are planning for him. But I think at 196 centimeters, alongside Cordy and Wilkie, that does give us a nice balance of height. The obvious issue with Caminiti is that he doesn't match battle with in terms of skills. He might be taller, he might be bigger. I think in terms of athleticism, Battle's probably better as well. But Caminiti isn't that unathletic. I think he's got a nice turn, a nice agility. He has a pretty good leap as well. So I think in terms of athleticism, he's pretty good there. I think if we just tell him to keep it safe with the decision making, the likes of Sinclair, Wanganeen Miller, and potentially the 7th defender, who I'll talk about soon, they could make up for this, lack of sufficiency by foot. So I'm going to put Caminiti here. Ari Showermaker is someone you guys are probably screaming for me to talk about. I'll talk about him a bit later. But before I talk about him, move on to the midfield to fill in for Phillipou. So I think the obvious option here is to move Windhager into the midfield. So originally I had him planned to be kind of a versatile halfback / wing / inside mid. But I think with Phillipou being out, he's going to be a primary midfielder now. So I'm going to put him right in that centre bounce alongside McRae and Steele. It gives us a bit of a different look with his tenacity and his speed. I think he has the ability to burst out of stoppage, which is, but I guess we just don't see it enough. But we've got 3 really good contested ball winners inside now, and Clark obviously is a good contested ball winner too. We can also play Liam Henry through there as well if we need more speed. So I think Windhager is an ideal replacement, although not like for Phillipou. It does give us still a unique dimension to our midfield. So I'll put Windhager in there, and this obviously leaves us with 2 interchange spots. So Caminiti's replacement, so originally he was in this interchange spot. I think we need a tall here. Our forward line currently consists of Sharman, Owens and King. With Boyd in the ruck, I think we do need a kind of certified second ruck. Owens obviously can play through there, but I think any more than what he was doing last year might be a bit detrimental to his body and his work up forward. So I think we do need a designated second ruck. And one guy who has impressed over pre-season in the forward line, as I said before, is Isaac Keeler. So I think Caminiti moving back does open the door for Keeler to get an opportunity in the forward line and shows wares, I guess. He has shown an ability to mark overhead in the forward line at training. His contested marking seems to have improved. He's obviously always been extremely athletic. He now has that added versatility to be able to play in defence if we need it. So having Keeler in the side with his versatility and his array of attributes, it does give us a different look going into the season without Rowe. That does leave the final interchange spot, and this is where I think Ari Showermaker does come in. You can see on the bench we don't really have a 7th defender. I think every team on the interchange bench does need a 7th defender. So whether it's Ari, whether it's Stocker, whether it's someone like Hasty, I think we do need another defender. And I think Showermaker has shown that he has the ability to play at AFL level. And he also has that added element of height over Stocker and Hasty, which is something that I think we could benefit from. I mentioned Cordy, Wilkie, kind of undersized. Caminiti's only 196 centimeters, so if we ever play against a 200 centimeter forward, we are severely undersized. So I think having Ari in the team He's kind of a mix of every single player in this back six. So he has height, he has good ball use. The only side to his game that lacks is that defensive accountability. But having Wilkie and Cordy as fully locked down players, Webster as well. I think Webster has been training a bit bigger as well, like playing on Sharman. So I think we are preparing him to play a bit oversized. And then Caminiti hopefully can develop that defensive side of his game. So we have plenty of accountability here, which does allow Showermaker to collaborate with Sinclair and Wangani Miller to provide that rebound off halfback, while also having the height to intercept mark overhead, which is something I think he has improved as well, his overhead marking. It was a bit of a weakness in his game last year when we saw him play, so it is good to see that he's improved that part of his game. Angus Hastie is also an option here. He has been electric over pre-season, especially post-Christmas. He's been really impressive with his run off half-back. I think he was on a limited program pre-Christmas and I think early Jan, so only the past fortnight he has really come in and been able to do really well. So given that we also do need a sub, I think Hastie is perfect for that position. Showermaker, Caminiti, Wilkie, Cordy could be in some cases quite tall, depending on the opponent, and having Hastie as that sub gives us the ability to sub one of them off, depending on team balance. And the fact that Hastie can also play on the wing also allows us to potentially sub him on for anyone else, and then move Wood forward, move Hill back to halfback, move Wilson to halfback, who also has done a bit of training there. Also just move Wilson forward. So it does give us a lot more flexibility, having Hastie as a sub, Showermaker as the interchange. So that does it for the team. I think this is a quite a well balanced and a team that can be competitive. I'm not exactly sure if it will win us games. Just with the cards have been dealt, it's been quite a grim few days with all the injuries coming in, but I guess we do have to try and make a positive out of a negative. That's by giving all these kids an opportunity. Previously Caminiti would have been playing forward, but giving him exposure to defense might, unearth a best 22 position for him. Remember back to Josh Battle when he first played in defense. That was out of necessity as well, not really by choice, and he turned out to be a very good player in that position. So hopefully Caminiti has that ability as well. And then, giving Keeler and Showermaker more opportunity at AFL level also comes as a benefit from this. And Windhager playing more midfield as well. He was once one of our most promising midfielders and seemed to be kind of on the edge at the start of pre-season, but now he has the opportunity to really grasp with both hands. So that'll do it for this video. Make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts on the team, what changes you guys would make, and make sure to also comment the justifications for them. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.